My name is Andy Mayakawa, aka the Cali Bird, and I'm here now, unfortunately, to do some Super Bowl 57 post-game review between the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. First off, kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs on their victory. As a diehard Eagles fan, it doesn't get easy doing this one. Don't even feel like saying much. Just initial thoughts, I guess, going into it, without even looking at the stats, it feels like the Eagles, overall, they were the better team, or at least it felt like they were the better team overall, but they were outbested by quite arguably the best quarterback we've ever seen. And it just goes to show how a quarterback can make all the difference for his team, not taking anything away from the Chiefs. But the Eagles, it seemed like it was more of a game they let slip away rather than the Chiefs necessarily winning outright, in my opinion. That being said, they did do a lot of, I think, twice as many penalties, um, struggled in special teams, even though they only punted a couple times. The punt coverage wasn't good, especially near the end on Katoni. And then the defense, which we thought was, they would compare them to the 85 Bears with the numbers sack wise, but they ended up giving a goose egg in this game, so that was really unfortunate. I guess looking at the stats going into it, total yards, the Eagles had them 417 to 340. Obviously, the passing, the Eagles had 302 to 182. Rushing, Kansas City had 158 to 115. Third downs, Eagles 11 out of 18. Chiefs are 50%, 4 for 8. Eagles were 100% on fourth down, going 2 for 2. Sacks, though, was hoping that the Eagles would get some sort of pressures going into it. Kansas City got 2, but the Eagles got 0. Eagles getting twice as many penalties as the Chiefs, 6 to 3. And then again, they also lost the turnover battle as well, with that one costly fumble. Other than that fumble, you can argue that actually Jalen Hurts was on his way. Granted, if the Eagles won, to being the MVP, he was having a great game. Looked like we have about 300 yard, 304 passing with a touchdown, but then 3 rushing touchdowns for 70 yards. He balled out for sure. A lot of the receivers balled out. Devontae 7 for 100. AJ nearly the same, 6 for 96 and a touchdown. Goddard pretty good, and Goddard had a lot of those contested catches, so he did really well. Again, looking at the defense, the top-rated tackler was Avonte Maddox, which is your slot cornerback, which you don't really like to see, just because you'd rather not see so many of your secondary being the leading tacklers, because that means obviously that they're having to make the stops, and you'd like it to be more of your linebackers. Once again, going back to the turnover battle again, even though it was just that one fumble, um, was huge, and even though that Mahomes was, it looked like very gimpy around the end of the second quarter, and he was hurt. The Eagles were not able to take advantage. Kudos to the Chiefs' offensive line. They really held. Hassan Reddick was, you didn't even hear his name once, and they just could not get enough pressure consistently on Mahomes. Kelsey had his. I kind of expected that just because he's Travis Kelsey. I'm not going to go too much into the holding play because, as unfortunate as it was to a great game, it was not the reason why the Eagles lost. So the Eagles lost because they beat themselves, and Mahomes is Mahomes. And Andy Reid had a great game plan in that second half, and that offense was just too much for Jonathan Gannon and the Eagles defense, and with no pressure on one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, it's not gonna be an easy day. And so the Chiefs come out on top, and it's really unfortunate for the Eagles. But now, we have looking forward. I think right now we got eight, like at least 8 to 10 or so free agents. So we already got to start thinking about that. Got to think about starting to extend Jalen. And looking forward, we have the two first round draft picks, one in the top 10. Um, so we got those things going for us right now. But right now, that's about all the positives you can really look at right now because it's a tough day. I will plan on doing a longer review, more detailed, more in depth, later this week. But for now, these are just my initial thoughts. The game, again, um, really unfortunate, sucks, um, but we gotta move on right now. And that's about all I got. This is Andy, aka the Cali Bird, signing off, and go Birds.